There's barn raising, hell raising, and raising the roof. On Labor Day weekend, the Uber Radio Network is going to be working at fundraising. Not to raise a roof, but to restore a hotel. The historic Shanley Hotel in upstate New York. Beginning at 10:30 p.m. on Friday, August 31st, until 10:30 p.m. on Sunday, September 2nd. Uber will be on with live shows, music, and interviews the entire weekend. And there will be pledge-level gifts, including a team overnight stay at the Shanley, Shanley shirts, and more. Be part of history and help us bring back the Shanley of years gone by. Remember, everything old is new again. That's Friday, August 31st at 10:30 p.m. Eastern until 10:30 p.m. on Sunday, September 2nd on the Uber Radio Network at uberradionetwork.com. There's barn raising, hell raising, and raising the roof. On Labor Day weekend, the Uber Radio Network is going to be working at fundraising. Not to raise a roof, but to restore a hotel. The historic Shanley Hotel in upstate New York. Beginning at 10:30 p.m. on Friday, August 31st, until 10:30 p.m. on Sunday, September 2nd. Uber will be on with live shows, music, and interviews the entire weekend. And there will be pledge-level gifts, including a team overnight stay at the Shanley, Shanley shirts, and more. Be part of history and help us bring back the Shanley of years gone by. Remember, everything old is new again. That's Friday, August 31st at 10:30 p.m. Eastern until 10:30 p.m. on Sunday, September 2nd on the Uber Radio Network at uberradionetwork.com. There's barn raising, hell raising, and raising the roof. On Labor Day weekend, the Uber Radio Network is going to be working at fundraising. Not to raise a roof, but to restore a hotel. The historic Shanley Hotel in upstate New York. Beginning at 10:30 p.m. on Friday, August 31st, until 10:30 p.m. on Sunday, September 2nd. Uber will be on with live shows, music, and interviews the entire weekend. And there will be pledge-level gifts, including a team overnight stay at the Shanley, Shanley shirts, and more. Be part of history and help us bring back the Shanley of years gone by. Remember, everything old is new again. That's Friday, August 31st at 10:30 p.m. Eastern until 10:30 p.m. on Sunday, September 2nd on the Uber Radio Network at uberradionetwork.com. There's barn raising, hell raising, and raising the roof. On Labor Day weekend, the Uber Radio Network is going to be working at fundraising. Not to raise a roof, but to restore a hotel. The historic Shanley Hotel in upstate New York. Beginning at 10:30 p.m. on Friday, August 31st, until 10:30 p.m. on Sunday, September 2nd. Uber will be on with live shows, music, and interviews the entire weekend. And there will be pledge-level gifts, including a team overnight stay at the Shanley, Shanley shirts, and more. Be part of history and help us bring back the Shanley of years.
Shadow on the wall that looks like a man. Lord, that lamp just moved on that stand. I got movement in the cellars, I got footsteps in the hall. There's no time to waste, I better make some calls. I gotta get ready, make everything right, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team, let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. This old house has a long history. It should be real, real good for activity. And we got the house wired for sound and got motion alarms setting all around. Got a box full of batteries ready to go, and everyone's itching to start this show. Got our logo tees, driving black SUVs, and that one bald guy with a slick goatee. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. Well, there's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set. Let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is your big brother Mike calling. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. That's right. Go get 'em, boys!
And welcome everybody to Pema TV.
It is August 31st, 2012, the night of the blue moon.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Want to thank everybody. This last week's has been crazy. Hope everybody has a safe holiday.
Absolutely.
Everybody that's catching us on archives, you'll notice this entire weekend over on Uber Radio Network, we are doing a benefit for the Stanley Hotel.
Shanley Hotel.
Yeah, Stanley doesn't need any help. The Shanley Hotel. Sal is salt of the earth up there. We really need to pull together as a community and help him out.
He's got people willing to do all the labor and all the hard work. We're just helping him with some of the materials and supplies. Join us over on Uber Radio all weekend long. There's auctions, prize giveaways, music, different DJs, all kinds of craziness going on over there.
Be live all weekend. Not that it's not always live all weekend.
But it's going to be more live. A lot less autopilot going on.
Oh, yeah. Wanted to bring this up with everybody, too. When it comes to the network, if you want to find our archives, the easiest way to find our archives now, come to the website. Right up above us up there, you'll see a little button that says World TV. You can click on there. It goes right to the player. It's very easy to navigate. It's got a forward button and a back button to choose which file you want to watch. You can see our what we recorded this year, Little Green Men, which turned out good, by the way.
Aaron absolutely rocked it, as always.
Aaron always rocks it.
Aaron Houdini, that is.
Several of the entertainers that were there were very good. Our interviews from Full Moon, Scarefest, and of course our most recent live shows. Everything's on there. Also, as far as the network goes, you're going to start seeing a lot more new shows coming. We got a lot of stuff going on, folks. So buckle up and stick around.
And welcome to our craziness.
Yeah. But once again, like we said, please join us this weekend for the
Shanley fundraiser.
There you go.
Over on Uber Radio.
And as you can see from the banner right there, it is my fault. There was a Yeti that stepped on the roof. That's why he's having all those problems. I did it. I'm sorry.
And it's uberradio.com.
Yeah. But tonight...
Drum roll, please.
Tonight, we are joined by...
Josh Wilson.
From the Texas Intuitive Paranormal Research. And
out
Josh...
of Amarillo, Texas.
Yep. That's way in West Texas, but still in Texas.
Yeah, we're way in East Texas.
And
he's on the opposite side of the world from us.
Pretty much. Josh, are you with us?
Yes, sir, I am.
And how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing fine. How are y'all?
If I was a puppy, I'd need two tails.
Well, that's good.
Well, Josh, if you would let all our viewers know a little bit about what the Texas Intuitive Paranormal Research is all about.
Well, Texas Intuitive Paranormal Research, or TIPPER for short, we're a group based out of Amarillo, Texas. We do the surrounding area, all the way to Oklahoma, to New Mexico, all the way down to, the very tip of Texas if we need to. We do just about everything. We do ghost hunting, cryptozoology, and UFOs. We're a full range group, if you will. We do anything from demonic to just people being crazy and thinking they have something going on, basically.
Well, I heard it, if you yell ghost around your team, everybody turns around real quick.
Yeah, sometimes depending on which members it is. But yeah, you can get them walking down somewhere and yell ghost out, and they'll all stop and kind of look around. So
I know. I saw a picture today.
Oh, okay. that picture actually looks like a former group that I was with.
Oh, well, let me ask you a question. That your name, your acronym there is very interesting. Not a lot of people use the word intuitive.
Yes.
Do you have a lot of sensitive mediums on the team, or?
Well, me and myself and the co-founder are, I guess you would call medium psychics. We have several people on our team that have certain abilities. They're not to the extreme of me and my co-founder, but yeah, we do have several that are involved in that line.
Okay, well, no, I was just very curious. You kind of know the drill. There's a lot of teams that either don't believe in or won't use, or
it's hogwash. It's simple hogwash.
Yeah, they don't believe that there's going to be some kind of teamwork together with this. It's got to have batteries, or it's not going to prove the paranormal. That one of those kind of attitudes.
Batteries and blinky lights. Don't forget the blinky lights.
Sorry, I forgot the blinky lights.
Well, the way my team works is we're very back and forth on everything. We've gone in and we do investigations, and we kind of split it up in two parts, if you will. We'll go in and investigate purely scientific, if you will, using all of the K2s, EMF, REM pods, whatever we have in hand that we can use at the time. And then we kind of go back a second time and do basically a lot of sensitive or psychic stuff, trying to get answers and stuff. And amazingly, sometimes we get, say we get a name, like one of our psychics or sensitives gets a name. Sometimes we'll catch on a voice recorder the same name. So, it's stuff like that. But, it kind of, for me, may not for everybody, but for me, verifies that the people that claim to be psychic or sensitive have some kind of ability.
Well, other than yourselves,
Mm-hmm.
Do you strictly use the electronic type stuff, or do you go old school too, like dowsing and?
Actually, me and my co-founder are the only members on our team that douse. So we do go back and forth. I mean, I'm all about everything that works. I don't know why you would limit yourself to one thing.
Well, I asked because I am a dowser.
Yeah. Dowsing helps. I mean, I think that you get a lot of verification between dowsing and EVPs a lot of times. At least we have. And me and my co-founder douse, and most of the time when we're dowsing together, so that we get, and it's really great. We get the same answers most of the time. Every once in a while, we'll have an argument over the answer, but most of the time it's the same answer.
Well, we actually have done an experiment a few times and taken two dowsers and put a person between them to where they can't see each other. And then they have a fourth person asking the questions.
Okay.
To see how many times the rods move the same way, just to disprove that because we're in the same room, we're forcing the rods to go the same way.
Right. We kind of did the same similar thing, but we took a step farther. We basically did the same room but separate times, and had one single person asking the questions, and 9 times out of 10 we got the exact same answer. So and we went in at separate times, and we didn't know what the answers were that we got from the other person got until the very end.
Right. Well, the reason why I set it up to where they're both in the room at the same time, both facing the same way with someone between them to where they can't see each other is because if, in theory, spirits can go any darn place they want to, you don't want someone in there asking questions and then whoever they're asking the questions to leave, and then the next person goes in with the dowsing rods and getting completely different answers because it's a completely different spirit.
Right. I agree, yeah.
So that was my little backwards experiment. But last time we did it, the person asking the questions knew a very specific story.
Oh, okay.
From start to finish, and he asked the questions, and he threw in some lies, and both sets of rods got exactly the same answers every time, and they were correct every time.
Well, see, you can't get better than that.
Yeah, it's what they would call double blind, if I'm not mistaken. Which, yeah, you're correct. Statistically, you can't get it much better than that, I don't believe.
Yeah, I mean, it would be pretty hard to get much better than that.
Well, he was the only one out of us in the room that actually knew the story, and he was filming it just to make sure.
Yeah.
So that one turned out really good, but it's nice to see there's other dowsers out there because a lot of times you'll get, well, no, I'm not using that. That's micromuscular movements, and you're messing with it. And
Well, and on that note, me and the person that I learned to douse from, the person that I learned a lot of my psychic abilities from, we've had several conversations, and a lot of people that are out there that are like, on the Ouija board, oh no, Ouija boards are bad, oh no, don't use the Ouija board. Well, for us, we feel, what's the difference between dowsing and Ouija boards? What's the difference between using a psychic and a Ouija board? What's the difference between using a flashlight and a Ouija board? I for one, think that using a flashlight or psychics or dowsing is much faster than a Ouija board. So that's the only difference to me. I mean, I've never used one because I douse. I mean, it's much quicker just to douse to get your answers than it is to use a Ouija board.
wow.
So that's kind of my standpoint on it. I mean, yeah, it's just like everything in the paranormal field. You can use it for good or bad. That's how it is. And if you want to use a Ouija board for bad, all right, use it for bad. And then call me when you have problems.
Right. Well, and a lot of people are like, well, you're opening a porthole. Well, isn't it the same thing as using a voice recorder and telling them to talk to you?
Yes, that's exactly right. I mean, there's so many things that we go into our house or whatever. They're like, well, if there's anything here with us, go ahead and talk to us. Well, we don't know what's there when you say that. I mean, unless you have verified proof that it's a demonic spirit or it's some guy just living there, I mean, you don't know.
I like him. I'm gonna keep this one, okay?
Okay. You gotta feed and water him.
Oh, all right.
I just, and it's just like, it's one of those things that I've had lots of discussions with people that, we get into, like, the demonic still. Everybody's like, oh, we've got this demonic case. Well, if you truly understand demonic cases are fairly rare. Here in the last, say, 10 years, it's get much worse on the demonic side. Cases have kind of been spurring up more often than not. But for the most part, it's more along the lines of, why if I am a asshole, if you will, I mean, sorry for my language, but when I die, why am I going to change?
Yeah, we've been preaching that. We've been preaching that for a year and a half now. That if you're an asshole in life, you're going to be an asshole when you die. You don't just sprout angel wings when you die.
Well, and practical jokers. I mean, that they may not be trying to do anything vicious. They're just pulling a joke. And if you trip, you trip. Hey, I'd point and laugh at you. I'd help you up later, but I'd point and laugh.
Yeah, I mean the crazy uncle,
Right.
the crazy uncle when you're alive, the one that's
So,
always
yeah,
joking with
so-
everybody. That's not going to change. That attitude wouldn't change.
Right, and I agree with that 100%. So when people come and say, "Oh, well, I think it's demonic," well, let's sit down and see what we got first before we declaim it's something. And I think a lot of times people want something to happen when it's really not there.
Oh, absolutely. I had one guy out of Washington State contact me like every day for a week. There's a demon in my house. You need to come check this out. Okay, first of all, I'm here and you're in Washington. Oh, it's a
Right.
demon. Okay, how is it a demon? Well, it's doing things. What is it doing?
Yeah,
I hear footsteps and door slamming.
so it's automatically a demon.
Okay, has it hit you? No.
Please.
Has it thrown you? No. Has it moved furniture? No. Then how is it demonic? Well, it's keeping
And
me
even
awake.
then,
There's a black shadow over my bed. Okay, is there a tree out your window? Well, of course there is.
yeah, well, and, and even at that standpoint, a poltergeist haunting is not necessarily a demonic haunting.
That's right.
I mean, so stuff being moved does not necessarily mean it's a demonic haunting. I mean, that kind of thing is like, that may be a ghost that has a lot of energy that's able to move stuff, and they want you to know they're there. I mean,
Oh, no, I
and
agree.
people-
I agree with you 100%. It's just he kept telling me he's got this
Yeah.
demon, and I'm like, okay, what's he doing? Well,
Right,
he's shutting doors. Okay, and?
and it's like, there's a lot of people out there, and I have some that are on my team that believe this way. That I say some. I have one person on my team that believes this way. That he is like diehard believes that all hauntings are demonic. They're all familiars. There's no such thing as spirits or ghosts. It's all familiars. It's all demonic hauntings. And we've been in several discussions about it, and gone back and forth on this deal. And he's stuck in his way, and I'm like, I'm going to prove you wrong at some point. I mean, I don't believe that everything is familiars, because a familiar takes things that you already know and gives it to you. Okay. Well, if I go on a haunted in a location that's never been investigated, which I took him on one, and we went on one, and we got all kinds of information that we had no clue. I mean, because I'm very big on, a lot of people go do research on the building before they investigate. I do not believe in that. I believe in collecting all my information, my data, investigating a couple times, and then go research and find what we can to match up what we got. So that's kind of how we work it, and for the most part, that is the best way to do it. So, you just have to go about it the way you want to.
Right. Well, I tend to do all the research on it before going in, only because I would rather go in and say, Tallulah Lipschitz, are you here, instead of, what's your name?
Right, and I
Because
think, I do understand that point. I just find that us going in with, if you will, blind, actually kind of helps us more so than going in with a name. Because when I ask the question, "What's your name?" and I get Mary Sue or whatever, and I go back and do all my research and I find a Mary Sue that died there, whatever the case might be, that verifies for me more so than us knowing the name. Because I do think that if you have a powerful enough psychic, they can manipulate things.
Well,
if that makes sense.
Because we both do things differently, and
We never actually investigate together,
that's very true. I normally do go in blind,
and I don't.
and the only time I've ever done any research was when we've been into places that were maybe structurally, for whatever reason, we might need to know if there was asbestos there. We might need to know I mean that
Yeah.
I've done research when it's come to that. When it's been private residence cases, I've done after research, but I've always gone in cold. But then we've kind of moved away from the client because of our situation. We've moved away from doing a lot of client-based. We've become more of a location-based, historical-based type.
Right.
Yeah. And see, in my team, the way we do things, I'm all about, doing, if you will, the cutting edge kind of deal. We try to do buildings in places that have never been done by anybody else. So I've done a building in Panhandle, which is about 30 minutes away from where I am in Amarillo, that's never been done. The building was closed for 36 years, 36 or so years, and it was an old inn. And so we went in and investigated the first time, and it was just amazing. I mean, we caught all kinds of evidence. Nobody had ever been in there. And then we went and turned around and did a fundraiser there. And we're working on another building here in Amarillo that's never been done, that's been closed for about that long. So we're all about doing buildings that have never been done, because I would rather do a building that hasn't been done and find nothing than go to a building that's been overdone and find everything.
Yeah, we don't go to the mainstream places.
Yeah, Stanley Hotel.
Well, we've never been to the Stanley. We've been to the Shanley.
There's a lot of places. I think as a paranormal investigator, we all have a bucket list. I would love to go to the Stanley, the Waverly Hills.
Mine's Trans-Allegheny.
The big wig places, if you will. But on one hand, that would be great fun to do. But on the other, it's like not necessarily something that I would want to do with my group.
Well, see, our thing is, that and because we're cheap. Well, the bigger names, Waverly, Trans-Allegheny, Alcatraz, all those, they charge such a large fee for such a short time. Where we would rather go to the Shanley for an entire weekend, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital for an entire weekend, and still not pay as much as it would cost for 6 hours at one of these places.
Right. And I understand that, and by all means, we're not, my team's not making money, but me and my co-founder have paid for everything that we have. I mean, all the equipment we have, me and my co-founder pay out of our pocket. So, and anytime we go on a big investigation like that, we try to split it up amongst the group if they can afford it. And if they can't go, then they can't go. I mean, it's not one of those things but as far as, going, anywhere, if we go to Lubbock or whatever, that comes out of mine and my co-founder's pocket. Stuff that's in with 3 hours of Amarillo, it comes out of our pocket because we can drive there and drive back. But anywhere we have to drive and set up in a hotel or whatever, we'll split the cost with everybody. So I'm just as cheap as you are. I try to get away from spending as little amount of money as possible.
Well, from what I understand, the Waverly right now is $2,000, a minimum of 10 people for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Well, I can go spend, the two of us go spend $155 and spend the 24 hours at Old South Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And investigate for as long as we want.
So you gotta, and I think a lot of it is you got to pick and choose what you want to do with your group. A lot of those big names are big names because there's been big people go in there and do it and make them famous.
Well, true, and then I guess that falls back on the fact that we may not be cheap, but we're not sheep.
Right.
I don't. Just because somebody that has a little more experience in this has been somewhere doesn't mean necessarily.
Or someone who's not necessarily has more experience, but they have a TV show.
Oh yeah. Or oh my goodness, so you've been on a TV show. Ooh.
Yeah.
I want to pay money to go with you.
Yeah, and I find that a lot of the people that are on television series and whatnot, TV shows, whatever, go and do these investigations. Well, you find out that when they're really good at filming ghost hunting.
Yeah.
Filming, but they're not very good at ghost hunting itself.
Right.
If that makes sense. And then there's a lot of people that are really extremely good at ghost hunting and can't film worth crap. I mean, so a lot of those guys that do those shows are really good at filming shows. knowing what people want to see, and things like that. And a lot of times they're not very good investigators. I'm not saying that about all of them. I'm just saying that's for some of them. That's how it is.
No, I would totally agree with that. The only exception is some of the people that I know we've met.
Well, we have quite a few friends that are paracelebs, but we've never investigated with
John or any of those guys.
With John Tinney or any of those guys, but I know where John's ethics are.
His integrity is beyond reproach.
The group that was Paranormal State, the new class, I know where their integrity is, and those I would trust.
Yeah, I mean those guys basically gave up a show to save their integrity.
Right.
So
right,
I mean,
and that reminds me of like Brad and Barry. They gave up Ghost Labs to keep their reputation, basically, because it got to the point where they were like, well, we've got to make better ratings. I mean, they start faking stuff, and you can just tell by watching them that that's just not who they are. They're going to either find the information, the ghosts that are there, or they're not going to make them. I mean, that's just how it is.
Right. That's how John Tinney is, because when they started Paranormal State, the new class, the second show, they said, I want you to walk in and say demon, and he says, nope, I quit.
Yeah, it's not. You can't. And some people can give up their integrity to make false stuff, and that's my deal. I just filmed a. My team was on National Paranormal Society's the founder of National Paranormal Society is doing a project called Alone, and it's a web series. And I was on it. He came and filmed a location here. And, and I told him from the get-go if there was anything that was going to be fake, I was going to call him out on it immediately. I mean, I'm not going to give up my integrity for a show,
Well,
yeah. And so,
integrity is all we have.
Yeah, I mean,
in this field,
we already catch enough hell from everybody because we're in this line of work. So everybody assumes, oh, you're crazy, you're faking it, that's not real. And so when people are out there faking it, well, what credibility do we have? Why can't we can't argue with people who are like, well, they do that on Ghost Hunters all the time. And you're like, well, I'm not on that show. I don't do this for money. I mean, people don't realize, they're like, oh, you make a lot of money off that. And I'm like, no, I don't make anything. If anything, I'm paying lots of money out.
It's entertainment. And people can't, that's why I was mentioning sheep. Because sheep would look at a TV and go, oh, that's true. Bah. That's how people act. We do this because it's what we do. It's our passion. It's an obsession. It's almost borderline addiction. Okay? Everybody that's really passionate about it. I'm actually kind of glad some of the shows are starting to drop off. I mean, the other shows that have been around a while, the Triumphant Trio and the now numero uno plumber, because there's only one plumber left. While I thank those guys for being able to make this topic talked about at a water cooler, you can tell by their show topics and what they're doing, they're starting to get a little desperate. They've kind of run through everything they can run through 2 or 3 times, and it's so passé that they know it's not going to go anywhere. So it's, what are we going to do now? Oh, well, maybe I should get possessed.
Well, and
I mean, that's what it's coming to.
On that statement, I have to amend them for getting a show and everything. I do think the first season and a half were probably the best seasons they've ever had out of everything they've done. Just for the simple fact that I think that they were more I guess real. They were more themselves than being, oh, well, we're these big movies or big television stars now, we don't need to do that. I mean, back when they were actually still doing Roto-Rooter as their real job, I mean, and so I'm like, for that I commend them, and for opening up this line of work to everyday Joes, being like, oh, well, I'm a plumber, I can ghost hunt now because those plumbers are ghost hunting. I mean, it opened the field up to anybody that wanted to have a passion for it. And it brought a lot of people from the woodworks out that try to fake stuff, but it brought a lot of people to this field that I think that have helped, that have made this field better than what it is. You know, I didn't start. I've only been investigating with a paranormal group for about 2 years now. Well, 2.5 years now. So, I mean, it's one of those things that I think that if it wasn't for that coming out, that a lot of teams that are together now probably wouldn't be together. I mean, I know that sounds sad almost, but that's the truth, because, you know, before those plumbers came in and investigated, you basically had to have a psychology degree, you know, to be a part of a team, that, you know, a real actual team. You know, and you have a psychology or parapsychology.
That's the thing. A lot of people don't understand that. You know, and there's nothing wrong with citizen science, but to a certain degree, there's been a lot of really unethical, really bad things that have gone on in the last year and a half.
But but fortunately, it's let's see, they've been going since 2008, so 4 or 5. No, they've been longer than that. 6 years on air. About 6 years on air, or 7 years. I think this is their 7th season.
I think it's 7 years, I think.
But there was this big build up, like billions and billions of teams. But the ones who were in it for the SUV and the possible, you know, camera crew following them around for a lifetime finally figured out it's not that easy, and they're starting to drop out. So that only leaves the people who are truly passionate about the field. And
you know, it probably kills a lot of people to know there are teams like mine. We've been contacted by several television series to come on, and I simply respond, and we're not interested at this time. I mean, my group is not here to make money. My group is here to help people that need our help, that want us to come in and try to help them figure out what's going on in their house, why things are banging, why things are being thrown away, why are them and their parents or whatever arguing more often than not. Whatever the case might be, we try to come in.
Remember, everything old is new
things
again.
Like that if it's something paranormal related, that we can help. We're not here to entertain people on television with our scientific process that we do.
Okay, I have to ask, because I've heard this from a lot of teams that we've either worked with or are friends with. Have you ever gotten a case to where you got there and either they asked you where the camera crew is, or they brought a bunch of friends over to watch you?
Oh, yeah. Events, with the last group that I was with, we actually did a bar that was supposedly haunted. And when we got there, there was about 10 people there, and my the founder of the group was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Hey, can you go talk to the owner and, you know, figure out what's going on?" I was like, "So why are all these people here?" "Oh, they want to investigate with us." And I'm like, "That's just not going to happen." I was like, "We'll just pack our stuff up and go and come another day if that needs to happen." He's like, "No, we'll get them to leave." I'm like, "Well, that's what needs to happen. We can't investigate with all these people here. I mean, we're not entertainment." And we've had people show us, you know, fake pictures and stuff. And please, by golly, I mean, think about it before you show me a fake picture. I guarantee you, I've seen that picture before.
Right.
Promise you.
Yeah.
And so we had a group contact us, or a lady contact us, and we went and did a walkthrough, and she showed us pictures. You know, we did the complete walkthrough, and for the most part, she was believable. Until the end, she wanted to show us pictures that they caught on their cell phones. And she showed me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, thanks." And we left. I didn't say anything to her. My co-founder knew what was going on. I didn't say anything to her. And the next day, we posted pictures, which you can find on our Facebook at www.facebook.com/TexasIntuitive. And you can look on there, and there's what we call These Ghosts Get Around. And it's pictures of ghosts taken from an iPhone of ghosts that are that people always get. My favorite is the little girl. We get her a lot. A lot of people find the little girl because they think that if it's a little girl, it'll be more sentimental.
Right. Well, and my favorite thing is someone actually posted a picture a couple weeks ago of that little girl. And half the page was, oh, that's creepy. Okay, if it's a child, why is it creepy?
Yeah.
And
I mean,
her eyes aren't glowing. She doesn't have like a hole in her head or blood gushing out of anything. Why is that creepy?
Well-
It's a little girl.
Well, Josh, let me ask you this, because we've asked this of a lot of our guests on the show.
He's got a demon. Hang on.
Yeah, there's a demon on his phone. Have you? How can I say this?
Hello?
How do you? No, we're still here. Have you? What are your feelings? Let's just get this argument out of the way first. What are your feelings on orbs?
Orbs are flecks of dust or bugs. I do not believe in orbs as a definitive evidence as paranormal activity. There's too many outside factors that could cause an orb to happen.
You forgot moisture.
Okay, and moisture. I'm sorry.
Well, he's in West Texas. There's not a lot of moisture out there.
I've never been.
You know what? Yeah, I must say, we're in West Texas. We haven't had rain in a while around here.
Yeah. I say there's a reason why the weeds tumble out that way.
Okay, but I'm from St.
That's
Louis,
right.
so how would I know that?
That's true. You guys are.
Well, it's true. St. Louis gets a lot of water. I'll give you that. But it just for me, there's too many outside sources that could cause an orb to happen for me to be like, oh, that's obviously an orb. That's obviously paranormal. That's just not going to happen. And me and my co-founder have gotten to a couple of pickles, if you will, about it because we caught things that probably could be considered a good orb. I mean, something that you can't explain it with dust, you can't explain it with bugs, but I'm like, I'm not putting that out there because my name's not going on an orb. Sorry, that's just not happening. I don't believe in orbs. That's just how I am, I guess.
Right, and I'm pretty sure if you're that thorough with your visual evidence, I'm pretty sure you guys have pretty strict protocols on how you deal with your audio evidence too.
Oh yeah, and and my deal is unless I can document seeing an orb with my own eyes and catch it on film or on picture, then I'm just simply not going to believe an orb is paranormal activity.
Spoil sport, God.
I know. I'm sorry. It's just
Good
how
answer.
I am. I
Josh, don't
No.
listen to her. Good answer.
It actually is because we've posted pictures of snow,
Oh my
of
God.
fog, of all kinds of things, and people are seeing angels and their Uncle Bob and everybody else.
Somebody
What we-
she
And
told me.
what we call that is pareidolia, and that's your brain coming up with an explanation. That's why you can look up in the sky when there's clouds out and see an elephant.
Oh no, Josh.
No,
These people on
even-
Facebook took it to the next level. This wasn't just pareidolia, okay? This was creative imagination because these people saw a thundering herd of angels in a snowstorm while I was smoking.
Right. Between
Nice.
the breath of it being 20 degrees outside and breathing,
And
smoking
snow.
a cigarette and snowing.
Yeah.
There were angels. There
Oh, my
were
God. It's-
dogs. There was dogs in one of them.
Oh yeah. And even after I typed on there, this is snow, New Year's Eve, 2010.
I'm smoking.
I'm
I'm
smoking
breathing.
outside. It's to 18 degrees outside. The very next poster was still like, you can't see the angel in the third orb from the left corner, right above the one with the demon face, and you just like head smack. You just
Oh no!
You know.
Hey, Pat.
And I mean, and you know how Facebook is, and I hate to keep bringing this up, but you know how Facebook is. When somebody wants to start a group with the best of intentions, the only way to get people added is to just guerrilla add them. And of course people hate that because it blows their email out with all the notifications, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But I've been added to some groups that were strictly about orbs. So it's the stupid.
Yeah.
The stupid is coming together. The stupid is forming huge masses of stupid.
Well,
It's scary.
Speaking of Facebook, there's a real good group that if you're interested, I'm actually a rep for West Texas rep for. It's called the National Paranormal Society, and that forum is for anybody that is in the paranormal field, whether it's cryptozoology, ghost hunting, UFOs, full range. If you have any questions or anything, you go on there and post it. I mean, it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to call you stupid for what you post. I mean, there are no stupid questions. The only stupid questions are the unasked ones.
Right,
And
and
that's
we
true.
understand that. But when we post anything with like the snowflakes, or we posted some fog pictures because we were at the top of a hill in Missouri and the fog actually rolled uphill, which is not the norm, but it's not paranormal. But we posted it and said, this is fog.
And people wanted to argue. Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's pareidolia, and people are going to believe what they want to believe, but it's just, oh my God.
But we're not going, okay, these are fabulous orbs, but it's like random picture of fog.
Right. You know, or somebody, and what I love is when you make a comment on a picture, all of a sudden people think, well, he made a comment, he must be an expert. So then they'll send you a picture through a private message or whatever. You open it up, and it's like, okay, this ectoplasm that you claim on here, was this taken during the wintertime? Yes. Okay, where was this taken? In Detroit. About what day? Oh, January. Oh, so you mean that ectoplasm is actually probably somebody's breath? Yeah. Because it was January and it was outside in Detroit?
No. And I was the only person there, and I was holding my breath the entire time I was shooting.
I took these pictures as I passed out. But I mean,
that's another thing. For people that go out and claim or even think they're an expert at this field, well, then if you're an expert, it's time for you to find a new hobby. Yeah. Because there are no such things as experts. Or
certifications.
As far as I know, we do not have definitive proof. Like, we have not caught a ghost, like, straight up and been like, look, everybody in the scientific field, we caught this ghost. This is a ghost. Everybody look at this ghost. So there are no such things as an expert. The person that finds an actual ghost, okay, I might be able to get away with calling them the expert of ghost hunting. But until that time comes, there's no such thing as an expert. Nobody knows everything. And I know I'm fairly young at this, but I know for me, I'm always learning new stuff. But I know people that have been doing this 30-plus years, and they're still learning new stuff. Yeah. So there's no end in sight that we can see and stop learning. I mean, the paranormal field, whether it be new techniques in ghost hunting, new equipment, new anything, there's no such thing as expert. So if anybody out there comes in and says, well, I'm an expert in this field, I would probably look away and find somebody else.
Well, Josh, let me ask you a question too. How do you feel about, and because I have a very interesting idea of how you're going to answer this. How do you feel about, like, UFOs, cryptozoology?
I mean, I love it. I believe I believe that at some points that cryptozoology, UFOs, ghost hunting, all three of those fields coming together.
Yeah, it's all possible, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, why wouldn't it be?
I love the people that are passionate about doing paranormal research, and they'll go into very, very, very in-depth scientific explanations of how these phenomena could happen. And the very next words that you'll say, well, I saw this show on UFOs, that's a bunch of crap. You want to know, okay, well, what do you like love Santa Claus and hate the Easter Bunny? I mean, how else
right.
I'm not trying to make fun of what we're doing. I'm just saying you can't if you, not that you have to believe in every unproven. But if you're closed-minded, see, that's where I have a problem with some of the people that claim to be serious paranormal researchers too, is because if you're so closed-minded that you're closed-minded to other possibilities of reality, then how could you possibly be passionate about doing this?
And that's the deal. On that statement alone, you cannot call yourself a paranormal investigator.
Thank you very much.
Because paranormal is anything that's not normal, abnormal. It's anything that's not you think about every day. So on the stance of, I go look for ghosts, well then that's all you do. If that's all you believe in is looking for ghosts, you don't believe in cryptozoology or UFOs, well then call yourself a ghost hunter, because that's what you are.
Right.
You hunt for ghosts. But if you want to be called a paranormal, like we are a paranormal team, so we do UFOs, cryptozoology, and ghost hunting. I mean, we do everything because we are a paranormal team. Anything, I'll do just about anything, man. If somebody has proof that Santa Claus is real, we'll find out, okay?
Hey, I won on that case.
Okay, I mean, I mean, I know that sounds extreme, but if there is any ounce of proof that something is real, then why am I going to say, oh, that can't be because we don't have any proof? Well, how do I know that me going in a house for 6 hours at a time, sitting there asking questions to the air, that something's answering me for sure, or if it's not some kind of reverb, like a outside noise making me hear an answer? I mean, you don't know. You just have to go with what you find. I mean, that's how it is. And for me, I was probably a really good skeptic about ghost hunting before I started doing it. And you know, even now, I'm very big on, if you cannot give me a definitive proof of what it was, or if I can debunk it, I'll debunk it. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Well, I mean, our team, you know, Pema, Para Encounters Mid-America, you know, I mean, hell, we've got them tattooed on our arms. You know, our mantra is truth, belief, and logic. You know, and it has to be in that order.
oh yeah. Because, you know, for me, the reason I'm so big about debunking things is because in the end, we have so many skeptics out there that if there's a possibility that they could debunk it, I want to know it before them. I want to know what they're going to say. I want to know, well, it was this. Well, I checked on that. It's not that. What's next? And I know the biggest thing is we've got on evidence on video that the door opening and closing by itself. And they're like, well, it's the wind. And I'm like, well, yeah, it'd be great if it was the wind, but how does the wind turn a doorknob and open the door? Explain that to me, and then it'll be the wind. I'm okay with that statement. And they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, if you're gonna be able to be in this field, you've got to be able to be like, oh, well, I know what skeptics are gonna say. I know what they're gonna ask. So I've got to be able to disprove it. Can't be like, oh, well, I didn't think of that.
Right. But
they'll tear you apart. I mean, that's all it is. They're here to, it's in human nature to prove everybody else wrong. It's how it is.
well, how arrogant does someone have to be to think that humans have covered every place in the universe, that we have been on every square inch of this world, planet we're on now, and everything else to where nothing else exists?
Oh, and you know, and that statement alone, there's plenty of things like, you know, in the jungles and whatnot that we're still figuring out what's there. We don't even we're finding new species all the time. I mean, there's no way for somebody to be like, oh, well, we've been all the way through this earth. Well, we don't even know what's at the bottom of our own oceans. Okay.
You know,
why?
I was actually talking to somebody about that today. We actually know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the bottom of the ocean.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's correct. I mean, how crazy is it that we're putting probes on Mars that we can't get to the own bottom of our ocean? I mean, it's right there. I mean, I know it's much farther than just right there, but it's right there compared to flying a probe all the way to Mars. I mean, it's one of those things that people just are like, oh, well, we know everything, and I'm like, we just simply don't. So who are we to say that there's no such thing as cryptozoology, UFOs, or ghosts?
I'll help you feed and water this one.
You like this one
I
too?
like this one too.
Okay. You gotta walk him.
You gotta walk.
Oh, crap. Sorry, Josh, you're not getting walked very often.
Do you guys have... I know you guys had mentioned, and I know that to you, the paranormal community should be a very important part of the community.
Yes.
But do you guys at Tipper have anything coming up?
As far as investigations, or what do you mean?
Investigations, events, fundraisers,
Yeah.
wild parties.
I can't say too much about it yet, but I would love to come back on and plug it a little bit sometime, maybe.
Okay.
But we're working on we have a walkthrough of a building here in Amarillo that we're going to be investigating, and then we're going to be doing a couple fundraisers for them. And it's a old 13-story hotel is what it is. So
it's one of the tallest...
It's been abandoned for a while.
So it's one of the tallest buildings in Amarillo.
I wish. No, we've got a couple buildings a little bit taller than that anyhow.
15 stories?
But, yeah, oh no, we have Chase building, I think, is 36 floors, something like that.
There you go.
42 floors.
They're growing up since you've been there.
I've never been there.
There you go.
But yeah, that's one of the things, and then we have a couple of residentials, and we really can't discuss that much. But other than that, it's kind of going along, chugging along as best as we can. And it's getting around Halloween, of course. I'm sure y'all know this as much as I do. We'll start having people call us left and right.
Oh, yeah.
And really, we get booked up for the year for the most part because of Halloween. I mean, people will call us or whatnot, or see us at, I work for a haunted house, so they'll see me there, and they'll be like, oh, well, and I'll give them a card, and they'll call me later that week, and I'll set up a walkthrough, and we'll set up an investigation later next year, So it just follows all the way through,
Yeah, I posted a picture of Zombie Josh.
Uh-oh.
You knew I was going to go there.
Of course you are. So, but yeah, we like I said, I've been doing haunted houses for 10 years. I mean, so it kind of falls in, and then it wasn't really a far stretch for me to go into paranormal investigating from doing haunted houses. So, and I did the whole project alone, and we had to investigate in this building. The building was completely empty, and you investigated for an hour by yourself. Well, I had walker slam on me, and for one, I was not one of those people who were like, oh my God, run away. I was like, oh my God, let's run to it.
Right.
And so I ran to it to find out what was going on. I mean, I guess I'm so desensitized from from the 10 years of doing haunted houses and stuff. Things don't scare me. I mean, I've been doing paranormal investigation. I've been hit. I've had nosebleeds from being hit so hard from nothing. There was nothing there, and I had a nosebleed. So, I mean, it's one of those things that I don't get scared or run away. I mean, if it's something there, I'm in this field to find it. Why am I going to run away from something I'm finding?
Well, I'm finding a lot of us, including myself, we've become so focused on the field that we're more afraid of the living than we are the dead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, a haunted house would probably scare me more than a real haunted house.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't want...
figure that. Because it's the simple unknown factor with humans. People are so much more crazier, if you will, than ghosts. I know ghosts are people at some point, but ghosts are a little more predictable. It takes a lot of energy for a ghost to hit you. I mean, a spirit to actually hit you, it takes a lot of energy. But as far as people, people doesn't take very much energy for a person just to come up and whack you. I mean, so, and that's the kind of, and we do kind of do caution, like cryptozoology. There are things out there that could hurt you doing cryptozoology. Like, if anybody ever comes into contact with a Bigfoot, I'm pretty sure they could rip your arms off. I mean, so it's one of those things that, a lot of these teams go out, and they just go out with a camera, and I'm like, well, I'm going to go out with a camera, but I'm going to have a 45 on me, because if I do see one, I don't want it to rip my arms off or beat me to death. Well, I'm sorry, if it comes down to it, me or you, it's going to be you, not me.
And be sure and check the weather forecast before you do so.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I mean, there's a lot of factors that are out there that people need to consider before they go off and do this.
Well, we went with another team when we lived in St. Louis, out looking for red eyes, which is Missouri's version of Momo, or Yeti, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And it was like 80 degrees all day. It was absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. Little did we know that about 11 o'clock that night, the frost warning hit.
Yeah, cold front blew in. Cold front blew in, so I'm out there in a T-shirt, and I'd brought a jacket, but it was in the vehicle. We were actually going into some caves and stuff, so I ended up getting just sloppy, dirty, muddy, sweaty, wet, basically. And when we came back out of those caves, oh my freaking God.
Yeah, it went from like 80 down to like 30.
30. Oh my goodness. I am dying. to get in a vehicle. I just want out of the wind.
I bet. I mean,
So yeah,
you know,
people
there's-
got to be careful. And on that subject, real quick, would you let everybody know what kind of precautions do you or your group take, protection wise?
Before every investigation, we do a protection prayer.
Okay.
You know, and no matter what religion you are, we do a general prayer. And you know, and as far as safety wise, if we're ghost hunting, we do a prayer. But as safety wise, you know, like I said, if we ever go out cryptozoology or whatnot, we always have a firearm with us, and it's more protection than anything. And sometimes we have a firearm on us when we're doing ghost hunting, just because you never know if a bomb's going to come up to you or whatnot. And so we try to be protective in the spiritual and physical at all times. And we always we never go anywhere by ourselves. We're always in a group of two, and everybody always has a radio on them. So it's just kind of, you know, watching out for each other. And you have to be more of a family than a group of friends. We're a family. Everybody has everybody's back, and we won't let anything happen to each other.
Well, yeah, we're keeping you, Josh. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Huh?
What?
What?
Huh?
I'm sorry.
I told Josh we're keeping him.
We are.
Yes.
Are we bothering him?
Well,
No. We're just going to keep him. We
Oh,
like
we're
him.
not going to let him move in?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
okay. Well, all right. I'll be down there soon.
Yeah, if you start walking, you'll be here next Saturday.
Right, maybe if I'm lucky.
Yeah, because we're like 30 miles from the
From
from Shreveport,
Shreveport,
from Louisiana
Louisiana.
border. So yeah,
Woo!
we're
yeah.
that far. We can't get much further right and still claim to be Texan.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's quite a ways over there, huh?
Oh yeah, just a few hours from you. We're about 3 from Dallas. So
what
if
is
you're
it?
5 from there, it's 8 hours to you,
Yeah.
So about 8 hours. You know, not a big deal.
and 8 hours at 70 miles an hour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay, Texans don't know how to drive 70.
Yeah, well, okay.
It's
That's
90
just
or
what the
better.
signs say.
Right. It's
hey,
just a
it just
suggestion.
depends. It just depends on who's in front of you at that moment.
That's exactly right.
Or who's behind you and what kind of lights they have on their car.
Because if you're in the middle, you can
That's why
go.
you go with the flow. We go with the flow. Find somebody's speed, you can follow them.
There you go. And turn signals are optional.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Camaros are always in season, just so everybody knows. But that's just us.
That's right. That's right.
Well, Josh, as much as I hate to do this, man, we've got to get out of here. I've got a whole benefit thing I've got to go get ready for.
That's fine.
Hey, we appreciate you being on tonight.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and anytime you want me on, just let me know. I'll gladly be on again. Y'all are I had great fun. You know, we want to thank you for kind of promoting my team and whatnot.
Stay in touch, and you're probably gonna end up seeing the NPS here on PEN before too very long. That's all I can say about that.
That's fine with me. I mean, I'm all about that. I mean, the NPS is going to be a great thing. I think everybody's going to strive to be a part of this. It's going to be one of those things that a lot of people have tried to be in, but it's going to definitely explode. And and I'm going to plug myself real quick. If anybody wants to check us out, we're at www.texasintuitive.com, or on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Texas Intuitive, and go like us. That's my little plug.
Well, we had your website up on the
Fantastic!
screen.
I love plugging. It's so much fun.
Oh yeah, well that's what it's all about.
plug. That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
And if you get bored later, go over to Uber Radio. We're having all kinds of auctions and craziness going on to support the Shanley Hotel.
To support Shanley Hotel, great cause there. On that note, real quick, everybody, be sure and tune in tomorrow night for Spiritually Raw. Their weekly wrap-up shows will be tomorrow. All 3 other episodes will be on tomorrow night. And please, like Kim just said, be sure and head over to uberradionetwork.com. Hell, let's blow the server up tonight. My show's going to start in about an hour and a half.
Yeah, 90 minutes.
About 90 minutes.
But it actually starts in an hour. Mary and Mike are taking over the airwaves.
Eastern.
Okay. Get over there now. Go.
Stop listening to us and get out of here.
Go.
So, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Have a safe Labor Day. Don't drink and drive. You might spill your beverage.
Monday night, Bill Bean
On Just Saying.
on Just Saying.
And Sunday night, be looking on Facebook for all of our advertisements. On Sundays, you're going to be able to feed your soul, feed your body, and feed your mind.
And
All right,
I'm
guys.
making them barbecued to feed me.